the Brains Trust, introduced by the question master, answering any question.
Rightio team, we're 3 deep in 2021 and very, very fortunate to get a pretty big guest, I guess, in Southland Rugby circles in 2020 on the Brains Trust. Lucky enough to get the skipper from 2020, Tony Lamborn. Lambo, great to have you on, mate. First of all, how you doing and what you've been up to for the past 4 months?
Yeah, cheers, Scooter. Thanks for having me. What have I been up to? Shit, I've been up to bugger all, really. I haven't been any training whatsoever. Just been hooking into food, and I started a building company, so I've been pretty flat out with that.
I got the tools.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had to be. I was supposed to be going back up to the Blues, and for the rest of the season, they were like, oh yeah, well, we'll give you another week before you need to come up here just to hang out with the family and that, and then see if you can get a little bit of fitness in too. I was like, yeah, beauty. So blew the dust off the boots and ran out on the field here at my rugby club back home in Hawke's Bay, Havelock North, and they're doing a little bit of sevens, and I had the ball down the sideline and I just took off and my ankle just blew out. So
hell.
Yeah, I need surgery, so I'm getting surgery in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I had to call up the Blues coach and tell him I'm not coming anymore. So
oh man.
Yeah.
So when was this? Was this in January? Was it February?
Yeah, bro. It was early Jan. Yeah.
Oh.
It's been a bit of a bugger trying to get the surgery because it's a funny injury. It's like on the subtalar joint, so it's like quite a difficult injury. But should be back for Mitre 10 Cups, so should be back for the Staggies. So
nice, mate. Nice. We'll get to that. But that's a great start to the interview.
Yeah.
Of course, not the injury, but that last part.
Yeah.
So in terms of, been pretty good to chill out. Like you said, you haven't done too much for 4 months. Like you had a pretty full on, I guess, 18 months. If you take it all the way back to the World Cup and then to the Blues and the Stags. So has it been good to, I guess, have a bit of a break? You obviously had a new addition to the family late last year.
Yeah. No. Like you said, just World Cup, Super Rugby, straight into Staggies. So I haven't really had any break for like well over a year. So definitely good to just kind of put the feet up for a bit and just hook in some tucker and just relax, do a little bit of hunting and fishing and that. So pretty good weather up here in Hawke's Bay. It's pretty warm.
Yeah, just like Invis, man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no, exactly. So that, and then my wife Abby had our second child. We had another wee boy called Quinn. So he's 4 now, and he's a good boy. He sleeps throughout the night, and he's putting on heaps of beef. So he's going good.
Oh, nice, mate. You'll be full time daddy daycare at the moment.
Yeah, mate. Oh well, especially once I get my surgery, I'll be I'll be just parked up on the couch, just that one.
Too easy. Right, man. We might we'll get you to take us back because obviously you've had a pretty, I guess, illustrious footy career. Been around for a wee while. So take us back to, I guess, when you started first playing footy, where you sort of grew up and how that all started out for you.
Yeah, bro. I was born in Timaru and I grew up in Ashburton. Started playing footy quite late, actually, compared to a lot of the boys. Started playing when I was about 11 or 12. I was pretty quick, so I started on the wing. And then I was actually a bit of a pussy, really. I didn't like tack like that. I just was real on getting the ball and scoring tries. I was naturally all right, I was pretty quick, so just got the ball and just scored a few tries, and I made mid-Canterbury age groups and stuff like that throughout the years, and then grew a bit of a passion for it, and then kind of went to high school and I guess you just went through puberty and that, and I started getting a few hairs on my chest, and I started getting a bit too big for the wing, and they realised that my pussy kind of nature went out the window, and I was real keen on trying to hurt people and getting stuck into the ruck. So they're like, "Oh, we'll give you a go at loose forwards." So I've been there ever since. I moved to Hawke's Bay in 2008. I left school early when I was 6. I moved to Hawke's Bay in 2008 and started building an apprenticeship with my Uncle Pete up here, and who's been building for years and years.
Yeah.
And did my apprenticeship through him. Started playing rugby for the rugby club here, Havelock North, and was fortunate enough to play with heaps of my best mates now to this day who all played for the All Blacks and Super Rugby players and stuff like that. So, like a really great rugby club, and big on kind of bringing the best out in their players and stuff like that, and doing as much as they can to help you throughout your career and throughout your life, really. And to kind of go through them. I made the academy, the Hawke's Bay Magpies Academy, when I was, I think, 18, 19. I was in the Magpie squad, but I was quite young, so I went on loan down to North Otago.
Oh, the old Golds. The old Golds.
Yeah, mate, the old Golds. And I had a season with them when I was 19, played number 8. I was like part-time kind of, I was working on the rubbish trucks. So,
and Oamaru.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Oamaru's finest.
I was into it. I loved it, I thought it was choice. Well,
That's just the wheelie bins, is it? You're just tipping those wheelie bins up.
Wheelie bins and that's some of the skip bins and shit like that. Yeah, it was heaps of fun. I loved it, Like, just running all day, I got so fit. Like, put the wheelie bin on the back. The next one, I'll grab the bags and I'll just be sitting there chucking them in. So, I loved it, and got to see heaps of the country, so it was quite cool. Quite like a lot of central Otago and and all that.
How'd you find the heart? Like, obviously, the heartland. It's a bit more regional, smaller towns. I guess more grassroots. How'd you find playing that? Like, you would have gone to some places that you probably would never have been to otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, was playing for quite a good premiership like competition up here in Hawke's Bay. So I felt like it was just a bit of a step above that, and so I didn't feel too deep, like chucked in the deep end. So it wasn't too bad. I loved it. Like, the boys were just drinking piss, like spend the week's wages on just a night out and wherever we were in the country. It actually was, I just loved my time there, Like, just kind of made me appreciate the camaraderie and just like, creating mates and stuff like that. So, no, I think I wouldn't change it, It was just, I think it was just a good stepping stone into the full-time professional, like, side of things.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously played for North Otago. 2012, was that right? 2012? And then headed back up home and debuted for the Magpies the next year. Is that right?
Yeah. And I think I was, 20 or 21, something like that. And, played for the Magpies. I was sat behind a guy called Carl Lowe and Brendan O'Connor, who were both Super Rugby players and sevens. So I got to learn a lot from them. I think I played like 4 or 5 games that year, all of them off the bench. But it was just more of a learning year for me. I was all ears. I was a bit of a sponge, just asked Carlo and Brendan O'Connor whatever I could, just to learn as much as I could, and they were real open about it. So learned a lot of and then the next year I had good season with the Magpies, and then the year after that I think I had another really good season, got Player of the Year, made the Hurricanes. Year after that, won a Super Rugby title with the Hurricanes. Played for the US 2016. So my dad's American, so where that comes from. So went over to America, and John Mitchell was the coach. Good Kiwi man. So
John Mitchell,
he got me. He was loving it. Yeah. I was playing with one of my first cousins, James King, who was at the time he was at the Melbourne Rebels, but he used to play for the Blues and also North Harbour. Yeah. You know, he's a good. So played with him.
Yeah.
And then the year after that, what year was that now? 2017.
So you're at the Hurricanes. You just go back to see you at the Hurricanes 2016. Is that right? I'm just going off Wikipedia here.
Yeah.
Wikipedia 2016. So that was obviously the year the Canes won the title, correct?
Yeah.
That was would have been pretty cool to be a part of that. They'd obviously lost to the Landers the year before in the final, but I guess to be a part of that and be a super winning team, first year of Super Rugby, that must have been pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, bro. Like I was. Again, it was just a bit of a sponge. It was just at another level, and there and Callum Gibbons and players like that, Brad Shields and all those kind of guys were there, and just again, I was just a sponge. I was just learning as much as I could. Had good coaches above me, and wasn't really expecting to play a hell of a lot. I think I played 5 games or something like that, 4 or 5 games. I played in the semi-final. Didn't get to play in the final though, but
was that on the bench but didn't get on, or just not on the 23?
No, I just didn't make the 23. So it was. I always sat behind Artie and Callum Gibbons, and Cully got before the semi-final. So I played the semi-final. It got decent time too. I think I got like 30, 35 minutes odd. And then the week after that, Cully just was like, good to go. And I was like, damn, been so good.
That's a tough gig, man.
It was, but hey, at the end of the day, I was just like, nah, I deserve it. We won it. It's all good. Got the ring to prove it.
Yeah. One of the great piss-ups too.
Oh, weeks. Nah, it wasn't.
Weeks. Willis Hula would have been at the front of the line, was he? He would have been going for weeks.
Oh, man, he was going for it. Of course he was. Into it. Yeah. And then the year after that, they changed the breakdown rules, and the Hurricanes said to me, like, look, you had a good year with us, blah, blah, but you're still pretty young. We still want to see some more out of you and see some more breakdown work. I was like, yeah, cool. And then they changed the rules. So, like being an open side flanker, usually pretty good at getting over the ball, but they took out that rule. You can't poach the ball anymore, jackal the ball. Go through and
that's right. What was because I do vaguely remember that. Not a flanker myself, but what was the main change? Was it that you couldn't really pretty much had zero chance of jackling? Was it something like that?
Couldn't jackal. You had to go through the ruck and kick it back.
That's right. Everyone was using their feet.
And so I was like, oh, bugger this. I didn't make Super Rugby. I went and started the first year of the MLR in USA with San Diego. Played with them, just played a few games. And there was some issues going on with my passport, the eligibility to play over there. And it was real weird. It was real awkward. So I had to come home and sort this crap out. And then coming back in semi-finals and stuff like that. But and then I did the India tour with the US over, and we're in Romania at the time, and I had a full ankle dislocation against Romania in the last 5 minutes of the game, and I was having a blinder too. Yeah, and
pilfering left, right, and centre.
Just pilfering, yeah. Well, we had a lot of the ball, we're carving up.
Yeah,
I just basically had the ball down the sideline, a bit of a drawn pass, and I got tackled by 2 players at the same time, and I just stepped, and my ankle just went sideways. It was hanging out. Yeah, definitely wasn't the way it was supposed to look, for sure.
Oh, right. Just so the American, just probably for some people who might not know, I'm sure some will be aware, but in terms of your eligibility to play for America, just talk us through that connection there and how you were able to, I guess, play for USA for people who don't know.
Yeah, the old man is American, born and bred. Probably doesn't act like he's a bit of American, he's pretty hard for Hori.
Yeah. Okay.
But he moved here when he was 20 odd and been dairy farming since, and he loves that. He's kind of retired from that now. But when I was with the Hurricanes, I was always kind of, you always, as a player, you kind of always, well, for me, I always wanted to look at that next level and see how far I could go, I guess. And I never really ever thought I'd be a super player, but I got that opportunity, and then I was just looking for the next level, and looked at the players in the All Blacks at the time. There was Sam Cane and Artie and all those boys, and they were all my age, so they were like the same year as New Zealand 20s as me, and it just wasn't. I just, I looked at them and I looked at me, and I was like, look, they're far better than me. I'm not going to make the All Blacks. So out of the blue, John Mitchell sent me an email and was like, would you be interested? And then my cousin said, I've got the email as well, like, let's do it. And I was like, sweet. So
how'd you find that American experience? Like your first week you rocked up to training, or if you guys had a camp, how did you find it compared to, say, New Zealand rugby?
At the time, they were definitely like behind the eight ball a bit. I just remember even still to this day, there's like amazing athletes in the country and amazing athletes in the squads, and you've got these guys that are like absolute beasts in terms of their speed and power, but then you just can't beat experience, and especially for us Kiwis it's like we live it, and these guys, a lot of them are playing football, playing American football most of their lives. They see this rugby game, they're like, oh, this bloody choice. So I think that was it. It was like the skill level and like just the knowledge of rugby was a little bit behind the eight ball, but you could see that John Mitchell was really pushing for, he was really trying to drive like a New Zealand rugby standard. I mean, because his brother-in-law is John Plumtree, who was the assistant coach of the Hurricanes at the time when I was there.
Oh, so John Mitchell's brother-in-law with John Mitchell.
John Mitchell's brother.
A bit of knowledge for everyone there.
Yeah. So John Plumtree's wife is John Mitchell's sister.
Fuck, there you go. Small world. Footy world, mate. Intertwined.
Exactly. So obviously they were trying. The US were playing the Hurricanes setup, everything, like their scrum, their lineouts, their set, everything the same. So I went over there and I was like, "This is how we do it, and follow me." Type.
These are the calls.
So it was like, really, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that
was 2017, was it? That was 2017.
The 2016 was my first year.
Oh yeah.
It was like June, like the June Test series, and Super Rugby basically took a break back then for like the Test All Blacks. So I went over the States and did that.
Oh, nice.
Old San Diego thing, 2018. Got injured into 2018. Came home, got surgery to kind of like fix it a little bit, but it didn't really fix it. Had like 6 months off. I got randomly called into the Melbourne Rebels, and I went over there. 2019. And basically they were like, look, we know that you probably can't play, like your ankle's still not the greatest, but we want you to be here and just bring as much aggression you can to our trainings and just all of that. So basically I just tried to smash these guys each week. Had heaps of fun over there, man. Melbourne's cool. Melbourne's epic. I loved it. Cousin lives over there, and he introduced me to the guys at his rugby club, and I ended up playing just some club rugby, just like basically played on one leg. But I was just over just being injured, and I just pushed it. And and then I was just getting ready for the World Cup, really, and my ankle got a few shots of cortisone, and ended up feeling pretty good, and just had a big couple months pre-World Cup over in the States, and then we traveled, went to Fiji, and so we had a good pre-World Cup. really hooking into it. Got real fit. We were training in Colorado, so we were training in altitude.
Oh yeah.
So we just lungs were hissing. But by the time we got over to Japan, man, we were so fit. But like the pool that we're in, England, France,
Yeah, you guys had a
Argentina,
tough gig, eh? Tough gig.
it was real tough, man. So like real good first half against England. Went average against Argentina, but could have almost beaten France. And then the last game against Tom, like we were winning the whole game. We should have won it. We were the far better team.
Yeah.
And then just kind of went. Trying to think of his name now. Man, I played with him too.
From Tonga.
Pardon?
From Tonga.
Yeah, for Tonga, the fullback, and he plays for Stade Francais now. His name's
Toulouse? No.
Toulouse. Yeah, I used to play with him at the Magpies.
Yeah.
Just carved us up. It was just pissed me off. He's a good player. So like just when we just got over there, Tom Coventry called me, who's the forwards coach for the Blues, and said, "Oh, would you be interested in coming to the Blues?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty interested, but we'll just see how this World Cup goes. Like, I've got a few other clubs that are looking, mainly in the UK and shit and stuff like that. They were just showing interest and stuff." And then we played against England. And I played really well. Just was a solid game. Real solid carries, good defensively. Got a few good turnovers too. And at the time they were England. Obviously they played in the final. They were a great side. And to play really well against them, it was, it must have been doing all right. So 100%. After the England game, Coventry called me up and was like, I want to offer you a contract now. And so I was like, yeah, look, why not? I'm can't beat home. Blues is a pretty cool team. And my friends have played there before and I always had a bit of a spot for the Blues. I was like, yeah, keen. So had them and played most of the games throughout the season. Obviously, COVID and that happened, and that kind of threw a big, massive spanner in the works. Yeah, bro. We had a few. What was it? 2 months off or whatever, and came back to Auckland. I was sloppy and unfit, and the coaches weren't too impressed. And how
did you find the lockdown, man? I know it was pretty new. It was completely new for everybody, to be fair. And I know, on a Stags level, I know when we came back in the wider group, there were some boys handled it really well and discipline did their own thing, but some boys found it really tough because they'd never really had to be by themselves or with one person for was it 2.5 months? So how did you find that personally?
Yeah, I think I had my moments, but to be honest, Scooter, I was probably on I don't know. It's hard to explain. I was in my eyes, I was I had been living the dream. I'd always wanted to have big full contract playing for the Blues and stuff like that. So and I always knew I was going to go back to it after it. So and I was still getting paid. So it was wasn't a real bad moment for me. And I don't think I didn't have too many days where I just was what's going on? Where am I going from now? I was pretty still just on good vibes, just living a day and playing plenty of video games and doing bugger all training. So
it was a bit like that, eh? It wasn't much to do, to be fair, after you'd done your training.
Yeah, exactly. So there wasn't a hell of a lot to do, and motivation was pretty low, to be fair. I'm not a person that would go out and just train by himself. I need to be pushed and driven by someone else. So I turned up to the Blues quite sloppy, and they went. I tried to explain to them, look, I just can't train by myself. But the standards are pretty high, and the expectations are pretty high as well, which is fair enough, and that's a high rugby. But
so you'd obviously gone to the Blues, last year, and obviously I guess fair to say those years before that they probably had struggled a bit, and then Leon had come in. Tom Coventry, they sort of rebuilt that culture. And what was it like to go in there last year and obviously be part of something that was, I guess, which we'll talk about later with the Stags, but something that was, I guess, going upwards wasn't that you were coming to something that was at the end of its, I guess, peak. It was something that was building.
Yeah.
How was that?
I think like Tom was a big part of it. Getting me over there was also like my personality and my style of like playing, just the way I am around people was like pretty just. I am who I am. I don't try and pretend I'm someone else. And it was almost like the Blues needed something like that. It was, and someone that was hard case and pretty out there and just like didn't really give a shit. And he was real driver to me. It was like just trying to get me to come in and like be myself and like push for having a really good culture. And some of it myself, I can gel and mix with like
anyone.
With anyone really. Like you got your poly boys who can be quiet and be like kind of in their own like little pods and groups and stuff like that, and then you got some of the older boys that are hanging out by themselves and doing their own thing, and then you got the young blokes that are off just ever and being menaces, and I could kind of mix it with all of them. So it was that really helped with culture and stuff like that, and kind of bringing everyone together. Pre-season got a good thing for that. We just basically went out and did bugger all rugby, just hung out with each other and just got on the piss and stuff like that, which is always good. Always good for culture in a rugby team for sure.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like that's something that people always chuck out there, like culture and culture this, culture that. But like you've pretty much just sort of touched on a couple of things, like specifically things like having a piss up. I guess, is there anything else in terms of like a culture that you think is important, like to get a team gelling or to connect with those variety of boys, other than having a cordy or a piss up, which we all know is one of the main ones?
Yeah, I think it's also, I think like with the Stags, we sat down and like it was like we wanted everyone to know and hear the expectations and like and the goals for the team, and like obviously like you said, like the culture for me was a big thing, and I know that like if you don't have a great culture, it's hard to be a successful rugby team. And I mean you look at any like successful sports team around the world, like one of the biggest things you notice is their culture, like they're great teammates and just good brothers and stuff like that. So I think other than like just having a real good piss up, it's just socializing with each other, right? It's like it's literally just getting around each other and making an effort to actually know someone and understand them and spending a bit of time with them. Think like, instead of just going off to go get lunch by yourself, it's inviting a few of the boys or inviting someone different to come along and just getting to know them. Yeah, bro. And I think that instantly kind of opens that door of acceptance and also, feeling like you're a part of the team and they actually enjoy your company and enjoy having you around. I think is huge, eh? Like, get on the piss is all good, but I think those type of things is far better, far greater.
Yeah,
for sure.
Going back to the Blues, is that something that the coaches you sort of mentioned? Did they specifically ask you to help drive that as part of your role on the team? Like you said, there was a bit of a need for your type of, I guess, leadership or character, or personality. Did they sort of push that directly onto you?
Oh, it wasn't like this is what you need to do, but it was like they would say like, you're a great like mix for this team, like your personality and that, like everyone likes you. You're not negative at all. You're kind of positive, and you kind of have a laugh with everyone. And so, all the boys would say to me, you're really good for this culture. I enjoy having you around. You're something different. You're like a hard case white boy. It's like doesn't really give a shit and doesn't really have any. Like they've at the Blues, we've got this wall with all the All Blacks and these like big like laminated picture frames of all the All Blacks that are in the current Blues at the time. So it's like Bone and Barrett boys were up there, and so I went and printed out this big poster of me, USA, and it's every day, and just like people just walk past me like, hey, what the,
What's going on here?
That was me, man. Like, some of the boys were like, what are you doing? You get in trouble. I was like, nah, man, everyone's having a laugh at it.
Yeah, nice. That's good stuff, mate. Fuck. So we'll fast forward through to, I guess, after that super season. You'd had a stint at the Stags in 2018, so we might just quickly go back to that. How did it all first sort of come about? You coming to the Stags, I guess, the first time around. Talk us through that. How that sort of happened.
2018, I was over with the States, or I was with San Diego or something like that. And at the time, the interim coach for the US, because John Mitchell left, and then the new coach was coming in, but he couldn't come in for that test window. And interim coach at the time was the Stags coach 2018 was
Dave Hewitt, mate.
Dave Hewitt. And so I met Dave, and look, obviously played a few tests under him and stuff like that, and then came back home, and then he got the head coach job for the Stags. And then he just so Tom got quite sick and got cancer. And so I was looking to go overseas. I had a contract lined up with Newcastle Falcons, and it was like pretty close to signing that. And then my mum got sick, and I was like, right, I'm going to come home. Yeah. I had Magpies, and the Magpies were like, yeah, we're keen, but we literally don't have any money for you, and we don't have even a spot for you in the team. But is there any way we can kind of have you as like a injury replacement? At the time, I was like, well, no, I'm not really going to play for that. And then randomly, Dave Hewitt reached out to me. I was like, what are you up to? There's a whisper going around that you're keen to come back to New Zealand and play Mitre 10. And I was like, yeah, I am actually. So, and jumped on that. He offered me a contract and jumped down there, and single game. But, look, obviously loved my time down there, made some great friends, and met some great people down there, and created some cool friendships and relationships down there. And so it made the coming in 2020 a lot easier, like already knowing a lot of the boys and a few familiar faces around.
Yeah, was Southland somewhere you considered, I guess, but up until, say, if Dave hadn't have called you, was that Southland somewhere that you'd even sort of thought of as a possible destination for Mitre 10 Cup for yourself? Yeah,
I thought that my style of play would suit kind of that southern style, like real hearty in the forwards, and just like muscling up teams, and then just your goal kicker, like just slotting threes, getting
not much wrestle, man.
Not a hell of a lot of wrestle. It wasn't well. But it was that. Yeah, so like I definitely had thought about it, but at the time, like. Yeah, I just was playing for the Magpies. I didn't really see myself or even think about going anywhere else until I was looking for somewhere to go. I had other offers around the North Island, and also one with Tasman as well. But and necessarily the Stags didn't offer more money. I just like I said before, like I literally felt I had a better fit there, and my style was going to be better played down there and better fitted. So that's why I kind of took up the offer.
Nice. And that 2018, obviously the boys didn't manage to win a game, but like there were obviously a lot of games where the boys were sort of in it. Like how did you find that in terms of like the year before the boys had lost 10 on the trot and there were a few hidings? And then I guess coming into the team where the boys still didn't win, but you could see that it was getting better. Like, how was that for you personally as a guy who had just come into the team?
Yeah, I think one thing that stood out to me the most was, like, obviously I'd been in some successful teams, and I knew, like, going back to that culture thing, I knew that it clicked to me that, like, every time I've been in a successful rugby team, like, we've just been real good mates, and we've like had a real good culture. And then that year, definitely, like, there was different personalities and a lot of like talking behind each other's backs, and like little bit of that stuff going on. And you could tell that, like some of the boys weren't willing to play for the other guys. It was literally just to put on a jersey and get those caps. That's what I felt anyway.
Yeah.
And so that really stood out for me in 2018. And then, so I knew that, I think I knew coming into 2020, that's what I really wanted to like try and help drive, was that culture, and really like start that nice and early and just get everyone involved, like that's probably going to be in the squad, to get there at camp and just get them all involved.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll fast forward to 2020 because we might have a wee bit to talk about. But so you'd signed, I think, was it the end of 2019 or start of 2020 you signed on? Might have been signed on. So you'd obviously, Dale had come in as the head coach. He'd been the assistant coach in 2018. So you obviously already, had a bit of relationship with Dale. He's obviously asked you to be the captain pretty early in the piece. Like, how was it to, I guess, connect with Dale nice and early? Like you said, you wanted to come back and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he approached me while I was at the Blues, and it was probably like, wasn't too far into the season. And he said that, would you be interested in coming back? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like this is this is now my new team, like my new provincial team. And I really actually felt like, when I'm there, I feel at home. Like, everyone's so welcoming, and I was like really helpful and stuff like that. So it was a no-brainer to me. And Dale, kind of said to me, like, would you be interested in being the captain? And my first kind of initial thought was, shit, like, I don't know if I've captained teams before, and I've captained the US, and I think I've even captained a couple like Magpie games and stuff like that, but towards the ends of the games and stuff like that. So a little bit of responsibility, but I was a bit like, can I have a think about it? And then just kind of took me a couple of weeks, had a good think about it, and come back to him, and I said, I'm pretty keen on that. I think what helped the situation is like talking to my old man and stuff like that. And when I've been captain of my club rugby team and stuff like that, and done really well, and like had good successful season stuff. And my dad said to me, like, you actually like naturally like a leader, you lead from the front, you lead by example. And so that really helped me make that decision a lot easier. So that was quite earlier in the year, and so it helped. Dale and I spoke throughout the whole year, and like talking about like who he's looking at signing, and what our strengths are going to be, and really trying to drive that culture like mentality early. And also just like, I guess it was just trying to sign the squad as early as possible, which you can't always do, but it was, I guess that was one of them for sure.
Yeah. And then obviously there was COVID, and that, wasn't it, like we talked about on like the lockdown before, but I guess from a Stags point of view, like even for yourself, like you were in the Blues campaign still, but I remember you jumped on a couple of the Zooms that we had as a bit of a wider squad or a contracted squad at the time. So it was, I guess for us, it probably actually, I guess, helped us in some ways as a Stags unit, being able to connect like that, rather than all being away, super guys, club teams. Yeah. Sort of come together a bit earlier, eh?
Yeah, it definitely helped. I think it was just recognising some face and everyone getting a bit of a chat in there, and I think Dale and the coaches chatting like their expectations nice and early was good. So there was a bit of a positivity towards COVID.
And then the boys figuring out whether they're going to get paid it all or paid 50-80%. There's a few of those yarns.
Yeah, bro. I was getting a few messages, and you and I were in that chat with the Players Association, and like getting a whisper of what's going on. So yeah.
No, it's good stuff.
We got
there in the end. Right, well, fast forward to the Mitre 10 season. So come back from the Blues, the boys crank into it. How, I guess, as you're the captain, everyone is sort of aware that we boys went away on a camp off to Ball and Lodge. What was, I guess, in your head, one of the first things you wanted to do in terms of you being the captain? Was it to like connect with the boys you didn't know? Was it to sort of stamp your mark on things? What was your sort of mindset in those first couple of weeks, I guess, when you came back in?
Yeah, it was a bit of both. Like obviously boys and like that know me or have played with me in the past know that I can have a laugh, and and sometimes I don't take things too seriously, and that was something I still wanted to have that side of like that you could see me as, but I also wanted the boys to know that I wasn't there to take the piss. Like I was real serious about the season and about being captain. So not only was I after just them recognising that, but also just getting to know everyone, just having a good time, and just really driving and pushing those expectations and our goals for sure. Like making it clear and obvious that I did like truly believe that we had a good team and like good coaching staff and stuff like that, and really believed in what we had going. And I think if you've got your captain that truly believes that, then why should you not like kind of back him and believe it as well?
Yeah, hard out. And obviously, like you talked about before, your leadership style, like you were aware of what, how you led. So I guess that was something that you sort of embraced. You knew you were confident and comfortable with how you led. So you sort of went about that.
Yeah, like I think obviously pre-season there was a lot of talking going on. So you're talking a lot and you're saying a lot, and it was like shit. The first game, it's like, well, it's now to start walk the talk. It's like kind of let my actions do the talking now, and just kind of lead by example instead of just being like, bro, you know me. I was chatting the whole way through, of course, but it was just like in the games, I didn't want to be known that I was just kind of having a rest or going half-assed into anything.
Yeah. So that first game, Hawke's Bay, against your old buddies, was a little bit weird. Like we were at level 2, so I think there was like 200 people in the ground or something like that. So it was a little bit bizarre. There was no one on the terrace, but wet, miserable day. The boys got the W. Like how, I guess for you in terms, especially being the captain, how big was that for you for like to show the boys like this is what we can do, boys? Obviously there was no crowd there, but. How was that for you, getting that first win, especially against Hawke's Bay?
Yeah, I think it was huge, bro. Like you look at some of the photos and you like watch the replay, it's just like besides like getting the win against my old team, it was just you could tell how much it meant to everyone. Like you just could see it on the boys' face that how much it didn't matter who it was going to be, man. Like to be honest, it was like we got the win. It was the first game of the season. And like I was saying before, we'd done heaps of talking, and it was like the expectations were so high. So it was like just to get that win, man, it was just such a relief, and and it was well deserved too, man. We worked real hard, and like obviously I wasn't there like throughout the whole preseason, but the boys, from what I could hear, that Jono was really pushing the boys, and Diesel was really pushing high standards. So the expectations are high, and to get that win was just was huge, and obviously the icing on the top was against my old mates, so that
was good stuff.
And winning the final in the end, so it was like it goes to show how great the team was, and how great the Magpies were, and and for us to beat them means we're a pretty bloody darn good team.
Yeah, man, that's sweet. So that boys went away. And the next week we'll better touch on this game. So boys played Bay of Plenty up in Rotorua, and I guess it was a bit of an unknown how we thought, like we went up there with the intention to win, but a bit of an unknown. The boys are, I guess, fair to say, all over the game, right in the game, 10 minutes to go, and then, get a penalty, and we back ourselves, we go for it. I think it was a scrum or the line out, wasn't it? We went for it, and then a couple of mauls, couple of 50-50 calls there, but how was that, I guess, even though we lost the game, like how did that feel for you? Like did you think it like showed the boys, hey, we're actually right here, like obviously we wanted to win the game, we could have gone for the draw, but like we went for it. I guess what was your mindset after that game?
Yeah, like I said to, like, in the interview after, I was like, look, we come here to win games. Like, we're like, obviously won that game before as well. And, you know, the Magpies game, it was like, look, we're not here to fuck around. We're here to win. We're here to win games. And like, we've set goals. We're going to make the semis, you know, so we got to win games. And I think, like, even though we lost it by 1 point, you know, in the interview after, she goes, oh, you know, you could have taken the draw. You know, what were you thinking? And I was like,
loaded question.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, no, we went for the win. And then, so that actually, it was a bit of a win-win for us, really, because once we got home, even though we lost, you know, the game. We lost by 1 point or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure it was 1 point. Sam Kane, the dirty bastard, cheating and stole the ball off us and whatever. We were going to score. But it was actually a win for us because we come home and, you know, everyone's saying, all the fans back home and the supporters are saying, like, good on you buggers, you know, like, going for the win, like, you know, that's good mindset change, you know, after the draw, like, you've got our backs, you know, like, we've got you. So it was really come off that game and come home and the supporters are right up us. So did lose, but it was good. It was good.
And then the next week, obviously, GD seals it for the boys at the death. So that was, I guess, pretty cool to come back, like, to start the season like the boys did. That must have been pretty cool for you to, like, come in your first season skippering, I guess, full time at that level. That must be pretty cool for you. Like, did you get a lot of, like, you personally, did you get a lot of confidence out of that in terms of you being the captain and, oh man, I must be doing, you know, like, obviously you're a confident guy, but after that you're like, man, I actually must be, you know, this my style, or it's rubbing off, or I must be doing a good job, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a nail in the coffin for me. It was like, I think it made me really realise that that mentality and that mindset that I had of that culture being a big thing really does count, and it really does help teams be successful. I mean, you look at our team overall, like, we're not full of Super Rugby players, and we're not full of, like, these flash razzly dazzly players, and we don't have a massive 4-pack and stuff like that. And for us to beat, you know, out-muscle teams like that, and also, like, you know, slot goals and, like, shit like that, bro, I was just like, we really are doing something right. And to win that game against Harbour was epic. And it was like, okay, so good. Magpies weren't just a one-off, and maybe Bay Plenty wasn't just like a bit of confidence off the Magpies games. We actually do have some real good shit going here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll fast forward, say, 5 weeks later into the season, and fair to say it was a few weeks of, like, misses there. Like we rode the high wave, 2 wins out of 3, probably could have been 3 out of 3, and then all of a sudden we lost a couple of real close ones, Waikato and Northland. Yeah. And then I think it was, we go away to Tasman. That was obviously a tough gig for the boys. A few young boys got a gig that day. The Mano 2 game, which was obviously real disappointing. Probably, like, it was by far our worst game of the season. Like, how, like, from that high start, I guess 5 weeks later, heading to that Target game, like, what were some of the challenges or learnings, I guess, you took over that period where few weeks we were right there, but just didn't nail it. And, you know, things, you know, it's like when you start losing, you know, start a little bits of negativity start to come in. How did you find that, dealing with that as the skipper?
Yeah, you definitely do hear a little bit of negativity, and, like, some of the boys kind of come to you and have a bit of a whinge and a bit of a moan. And I think it's just about keeping that cool head and not kind of picking sides. It's like sticking to your guns, sticking to what you've been talking about the whole time, and just believing, like, what the coaches have got going, and really just sticking to it. I think, like, I definitely was, like, looking at myself a bit, like, reflecting on, like, some of the decisions I could have made. I think we probably could have won maybe 2 of those games if I'd made, like, decisions of just taking the 3 instead of going to the corner, you know, like, I'm not the type of captain that would, you know, Scooter, I'm not the type of captain that would just decision on my own. Like I'd look at you and also look at my forward pack and stuff like that and kind of ask for, well, I wouldn't just go out on my own.
Yeah.
And our team being us would, you know, I'd be like, right, 3, or should we go for the corner? The boys like, fuck that, let's go for the corner, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it didn't quite come off. So
yeah.
You know, when I think back at the game, I'm thinking about the time when it happened and if we'd taken 3 and then kind of, just was like going back and kind of reflecting on my decisions and just like saying like, nah, fuck that. No, really think we should take the 3 here. So like, for me, it was a learning, like not only did I take a lot of positives out of it, but I also like learned a lot as well. Like, I think just trusting your own gut as well, like not necessarily just being like, yeah, fuck it, boys, yeah, we'll fucking do it. Sort of. We weren't that like we're good, but we're in that fucking
hard out, man.
Yeah.
No, So that obviously is like there's a lot of learnings here.
5 weeks later, we go and we play against Otago for the mate. You'd have to tell me the name of the shield now.
Donald Stewart Memorial, mate. It's been that long since we'd won it.
It's what?
It had been that long since we won it.
Yeah, well, like some of the old boys come up to me and were like, mate, that shield there means more to us than the Ramfield. And I was like, bullshit. They're like, yeah, mate, like that is more to us than the Ramfield. I was like, fuck, that's pretty cool. And to give Otago an absolute whipping at home, you know, like pretty much a packed stadium, it was epic, bro. Like, I'll never forget that day.
One of your better rugby memories, like from your career? Like, obviously only recent. But...
Yeah, honestly, it was like just one of those games where like everything was kind of going our way. They bounced the ball, had the ball on a bit of a string. It was just one of those games, man.
Yeah, mate. No, it was good stuff, all right.
Look up out and they're just hissing. Yeah. You know, like on the banks as well, and they're just going for it. All the youngins are thinking piss back. It was awesome.
boys are on in town that night, eh?
The boys.
Fuck. No, it's good stuff, man. So now, obviously, like boys didn't manage to make the semis, but you know, I guess from where we had been, or where the team had been, so it's, you know, massive strides from those past couple of years before that. So I guess was there anything one thing particular I guess you took from last year? I guess you know, in terms of overall, in terms of the Stags. I know because you talked a lot about in the paper and, you know, put out there stuff about the legacy, like creating our own legacy. Was that I guess one of the main things you took out of last season, like the team starting to create their own identity?
Yeah, and I think we actually like did that. You know, like even though we won 3 games out of 10, I think you look at probably another 3 or 4 that we probably should have won as well. So in my eyes, even though we only won 3, we probably could have won, like 6 or 7. Yeah. So like, and then you know, like how I looked at it was just could have been like the decisions I'd made with taking the 3 and like just before, like taking the 3 or going for them all. So I definitely think we have created our own legacy. It was something, we did something different, and Stags could come off that massive losing streak, and to win the first game of the season and then win a couple of quite important games, and especially the Otago game as well. I really think where we did create our own legacy for sure, and it's going to get better. Keep building off it this year.
Yeah, man. Right, we might we'll rip into a couple of listener questions. We did put it out there on the gram, asked for a couple of questions. We got a few. To be fair, most of them were the same question, which I'll ask last. I'm sure you probably worked that one out. We got a couple before that, a couple of out of the box ones. So the first one is, what's the crookest thing you've seen at a club piss up? Don't have to name club or team.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a big spew bucket, like a big spew bucket in the middle, quite a big one, and like it was a good cordy, and it was half full of spew and piss because you weren't allowed to go outside to piss, so you had to stay inside to piss. And like for me, I didn't really piss in there. I just pissed in my pants on the seat. I seen someone. I seen someone do a dive into the bucket first, pour it all on the ground, and then started doing
Snow angels.
Snow angels in the piss and spew.
Oh man,
have to be right up there with one of the crookest things I've ever seen.
Buckets, good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope that listener got the answer they were after there. This next one, I'm guessing this is more of a serious question, but what is your biggest fear, or what was or is your biggest fear playing rugby? That was a question sent in. Interesting question, that one.
Probably not something I think about too often, but I think most rugby players' biggest fear is probably getting injured. Like, like a serious injury too. Like always, you kind of a little bit of an injury, and it's up to you whether you kind of can push through it or not. But I try not to think about it too much. But there's something always in the back of your mind a little bit about getting a big injury. Yeah, for sure. Like, especially if you're playing well and you kind of back yourself to be a good player and like starting and stuff like that. So probably my biggest one is getting a big injury for sure.
Yeah, nice, man. The last question. Now this question was asked, to be fair, quite a few times, so I'm sure you might have an idea. But will he be back at the Stags in 2021? I guess that's people listening to this. That's probably the question on everyone's lips. So give us the oil, mate. Where are things at 2021?
So 21, I haven't re-signed just as yet, but we're at the moment I'm talking with Diesel, and it's 95% happening, guys. So look, I'm keen to come back. I love the city. I love Southland as a region, and I love the team. Love the fans, love the supporters, and look, I actually can't wait to get back down there and hook in some footy. But first things first is getting us ankles. Yeah, nice, for sure.
Man. So you don't have a surgery date yet? No surgery date yet?
It's 20th of April.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm currently trying to get it like within the next week or two.
Yeah, and what's the recovery with time on that? Just in time for my
Yeah. Right on the cutoff, right on the first game.
Oh, hell. First thing.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Nice.
In terms of full playing.
Yeah. Oh, you'll smash it out there, mate. Right on time. Missed the preseason. Rock up for game one. Ons.
Mate, a couple of trammies before the first game. We're away. Don't worry.
Fuck, he's going to be on. Watch out, folks. Yeah. Oh, well, you heard it here first, folks. 95%. So, man, it'll be awesome to see you back out there. And I know how much you did for the team and the province as well. Put a lot of money back in that jersey. So, it'd be good to see you back, mate. So, huge thanks for coming on, man. It's awesome to hear your story. And I think some people probably wouldn't have heard some of those details you shared around, I guess, your career and little bits and pieces. So appreciate that, mate, coming on the Brains Trust. And, later in the year, might have to get you back on.
Yeah, mate. Keen as. Love it.
Too easy. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, good legend. Cheers, everyone.